Welcome back. Last week, we spoke with Peter Burr, an artist who builds fascinating virtual landscapes to blow open our minds and imagine what alternate futures could look like. In part 2, I'm about to meet Peter's guest, fellow artist Auriea Harvey, who's designed her ideal world through art and technology. Peter and Auriea, hello.
Hello.
So now we have widened up the conversation from Brooklyn to Edinburgh to Rome. I'm so intrigued how somebody who originally started in video game design ends up living somewhere so old, so full of architecture made a long time ago.
I started off as a sculptor, actually, and then discovered making video games. But I will also say that I find a lot of the virtual in these old environments of, say, cathedrals, basilicas, where you're surrounded in this graphic environment, is something that I've always heavily related to in terms of creating virtual worlds.
Oh man, cathedrals are still the most exciting technology for storytelling.
It feels kind of excitingly futuristic to think about returning to the object, the physical, and the ancient wisdom in, say, a cathedral.
Embedding a story into a building somehow feels so much more exciting to me than embedding it into an MP4 file.
There's a concept of environmental storytelling in video games design. You surround the player in an environment and allow them to tell their own story. People spend hours, days, weeks, months inside of virtual worlds trying to understand virtual stories.
So many more people are going to spend time in your video game than they are in your art museum.
Exactly, right? I think this is part of the beauty of your animation specifically, Peter. With all the details, you're looking at it and you're wondering, what is that? How is that made? What is going on? Even, you know?
And you have this opportunity by being a designer to create the fantasy. Am I right or wrong?
One of the great things about working with this technology is that we can constantly morph, we can constantly adapt. We can make a painting, we can make a film, we can make a video game. When I think about what good artwork does, it draws my attention to things that actually feel really meaningful, point my attention towards things that actually feel important.
Absolutely, like what is important to us. Let's look ahead and jump into the future. What do you both think of the role of artists 100 years from now?
I hope that in the future, there's more encouragement of this kind of thinking around technology, around art, encouraging people to use their imaginations, not only in creating fake worlds, but in applying that fantasy to the real one.
And to provoke, to beta test what's happening so that we can either accept it or change what's happening.
What do you think that New York will look like in 100 years from now?
Well, I think part of it will be underwater, but the rest of it...
As long as we can swim, we're all right.
Yeah.
We have got an online question. Devon Wong would like to know, how would you complete the sentence, in my version of Utopia, artists are?
In my version of Utopia, actually, artists are prophets. Artists are the ones screaming in the desert, trying to get your attention and tell you what is to come.
God, I love that.
That is literally mic drop. Art and Technology is not just a series, it's an incubator for the future. And that's thanks to both of you. Thank you so much. Have you got a utopia in your mind? I've definitely got one, and it's quite sparkly. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next time on Art and Technology.
Hyundai Motor, connecting art and technology.